and welcome to UMC All Access. I'm Vince Bailey. Once again, we're in Hotlanta, Georgia, and I'm joined by the writer, the producer of the film everyone's talking about. It's hashtag Digital Lives Matter. It's none other than Cas Sigers-Beedles.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Fine. This great film is streaming right now on UMC Urban Movie Channel. And let's get right into it. It is so hilarious, Cas.
It is hilarious. It's Atlanta's Friday.
It is.
Yes.
It is. That's exactly what I thought about it. So, you know, when you see this movie, let's talk about where did it come from? Why this subject matter? How long did it take to make it? Or how long did it take from thinking of it to actually being on set with the film?
Probably from conception of us saying we wanted to do a film with digital media stars to actually shooting the film. Maybe about 8 months, 7, 8 months. So that's fairly quick for this business. Terri and I, with Nina Holiday Entertainment, which is our company, we actually were approached by another producer. Her name is Ricky Hughes. And she said, I have these awesome guys that are these social media guys, and they do all of these characters. And we looked the characters up, and I was like, oh my God, how cool would it be to do a movie with these guys and these characters? And so we all kind of collaborated. And the first conversation was, how do we keep the characters genuine, keep their following, and not try to make them into something else, but still make a movie from that. And that was kind of the start of, you know, the organic conversation of how do we make this movie Digital Lives Matter. Well,
it was a great movie. And you're not only a great movie maker, but an accomplished author.
I am.
You know, books like what? Pieces of a Man.
Pieces of a Man.
Love is Simple. Forever Tricky. When did you segue from books into film and TV?
Oh gosh, actually my producing partner, Terri Vaughn, was part of the reason of the segue. My very first book, Pieces of a Man, which was actually called A Girl Named Lily at the time, I gave it to her on set many years ago and said, please read my book, lady. That's how it started. I didn't know her. I gave it to her and a couple of the other actors, and she read the book, loved the book, gave the book to her agent, and they wanted to turn it into a television show.
Wow.
So she called me one day out of the blue and said, you should come to LA. They want to make your book into a show. I want to play the lead character. Let's try to make this happen. So that was the start of it. It didn't materialize into a television show, but what materialized was our production company, us working together. 11 years later, we're still working together. So that was obviously the real reason of me giving her the book, but that's how it started.
Well, you go from some dark subject matter in some of your books, like Hit a Lick about the Felicia Blakely murders.
Yeah, well, that's a film.
Comedy.
Right, to this comedy, that's a film.
Yeah, to this comedy. I mean, how do you do that so easily?
I'm a Gemini.
Okay.
So I think it's the twins in me. I have one twin that's, you know, dark, one twin that's light and funny.
Yes.
But no, at the end of the day, I'm a storyteller, and I just want to tell good stories. I want to tell stories that mean something. It's just important to me for us to have our voices and tell real stories, and see us as a people just in a large diaspora, just of topics. We're not just one thing.
That's right.
So we've got street tales. We have the gritty, the dirty, the things that happen to us in the street, but we also have wholesome and family tales, and we're businessmen. We're also groups of kids that are just out there making it and just being funny, and just this young generation, which is what Digital Lives Matter is about. It's a whole culture that, you know, someone my age really didn't know about.
That's right.
I had to learn about how important it was to have followers. I thought that was the craziest thing, but that's how they make money. Our lead character in real life makes money based on how many followers he has.
That's right.
So that was a culture I had to learn, but that's also a very important story to tell because it's where it's going. So they're all about good storytelling, as far as I'm concerned.
Your lead character, DC Young Fly.
Yes.
I mean, he's fantastic. The whole cast is fantastic. But young man that is on the rise, social media, as you say.
Yes.
Hollywood now is looking at him as well after this. Talk about the casting process. And, well, you said it was almost made
It was made for them. I mean, they were a group of kids. They were under another group, entertainment group called Archive Entertainment. Some young promoters here basically rounded up these kids and said, hey, we see what you guys are doing on social media. Let's turn this into a comedy show. So they started doing live comedy skits and kind of brought some business sense to what these young kids were doing. But DC Young Fly, Emmanuel Hudson, Nav Green, I mean, just comic geniuses, but just kids doing it on their own. They don't have a team behind them. Archive became the team. We met them. We watched their videos. We talked to them about their characters, what characters are popular. Let's see if we can build a story around them, because Hollywood wants to use their followers in order to be able to market their films, but they don't know what to do with them. They want to make a DC Young Fly and say, let's turn you into this clean-cut street kid, you know, that's dapper and this. And so the translation, although he's talented enough to do it, you lose your fans, because the fans love DC. They don't love this character you portray. So our challenge was, how do we keep it as organic as possible, keep the fans, but still let DC do his thing? And that was, again, that was the birth of it, and that is why we feel like the movie will be so successful, and has been successful, because now you've got these fans that can relate to these characters, but we're transitioning these young kids into real acting opportunities.
Well, you talk about fans and followers. I mean, DC has a 3.6.
No, 4.3 now.
4.
Like, it goes, it's crazy.
Wow.
4.3 or 4.5 million followers.
Just like in the film, they continue to grow. Just like in the film, they continue to grow. Well, for a lot of actors out there, you know, is that a problem that people are being cast based upon the fact of how many followers you have out there on social media?
Yeah, I mean, for some actors, it is. I work with a lot of productions, and I work for a lot of different networks, and the conversation, I've seen it change over the years. They want a social media star in these projects. It's just the way of the times. I mean, it's just another marketing tool for them. It's a way for them, and them being the system, to be able to capitalize on a built-in marketing.
That's what it is.
And it's smart. So although there is a little saltiness sometimes from the professionals that feel like these other people are coming in and taking their spots, I don't believe anybody can take something away from you. It's just made the more established actor have to be involved social media wise. So we've just had to reprogram ourselves, but that is, it's the way of culture. It's the way of life. It's like you're constantly having to evolve with technology. So it's just another way that we're having to do it. But it definitely is a move that's going from the larger networks to digital platforms, where they definitely want to have that social media impact. And that usually involves a culture icon, a social media mover and shaker.
So we're talking about a new benchmark for our actors out here now.
Yeah, absolutely. Because now you are not only having to be an established actor, actress, you also have to get your followers up. So therefore, you have to promote.
So you're bringing customers to
you. You have to bring customers to you. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Which, I mean, it's a great opportunity for you to be able to reinvent yourself, I think, because now you don't have to necessarily wait on the roles. You can literally get your followers up and then go to a network and say, hey, I got 3 million followers. I got a project. They're much more amped to listen when they hear you have 3 million followers and a project, as opposed to, I just have a project. So I think people have to start retraining our thought as to how to get your content out there. And the digital space is just, the doors are wide open, not only for young kids, but for more established entertainers and filmmakers.
In the film, was it Emmanuel Hudson plays DC's sidekick?
Yes,
his partner in crime.
Yes.
He does a great job, natural in the role. Yeah. He and DC, they together collaborate on Wild 'N Out with Nick Cannon.
Yes.
Talk about their comedic chemistry.
Oh man, it's so funny because DC plays the wild, crazy guy, and Emmanuel plays the straight guy. And they play it so well, so it just really vibes. It just reminded me of, the one thing about our film is when we were watching it, I was like, oh my God, this is classic like Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence. It's classic like Red Fox, Richard Pryor, because they were just so hilarious on set. Like, it was funny on paper.
Yeah.
So yay for me, but
better in person.
Nowhere near like when we watch it and people are like, it's so hilarious. I said, well, that's half right, half script, and half actors. Just what they were able to bring and the camaraderie that they have on and off camera. I think it always helps when actors know each other off camera. So that natural comedic timing they already had, and then they just brought that to Terry's directing, and it was a wrap.
There's some things you just can't write.
There are things you can't write.
It just happens.
They just happen.
One of the great other actors you have, a comedic favorite, is Rodney Berry.
Rodney.
He plays Pops.
We love Rodney.
Talk about the relationship with he and DC's character.
Oh, man. Again, it was perfect. We love Rodney. Rodney has always been a champion for Nina Holiday and a champion for Terri and I. And so when we started thinking about characters to play Pops, we were like, oh man, what's this person doing? What's this person? And what's funny is it kind of got away from us because we weren't shooting that scene till later. But we were already thinking about Rodney. And one day, I think 1 day or 2 days in, Rodney sends us a text. It's like, hey, what you guys got going on? I see you posted some stuff on social media. Why am I not involved? And we were like, funny you say that. What are you doing? Can you shoot next week? So that happened naturally because, again, we were already moving in that direction. But Rodney's amazing. Rodney was perfect because he plays the straight-laced, no-nonsense dad to DC's crazy antics. And so just the scene in the beginning where DC is saying, you know, I'm going to be an actor. And the Pops is like, yeah, okay. You can act like you live somewhere else because in 3 days, I'm getting ready to kick you out.
That's right.
It's just a perfect, I think everybody can relate to that dad.
That's the thing.
Who has a kid who wants to be an actor or an artistic, and the dad just doesn't get it, and it's like, get your life together.
That's right.
And that's what he plays in his funny, hilarious way. Rodney is amazing.
But it's still reflective of you know, what goes on in our community on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
Just about every house here.
And just about, I'm an artist. So I had parents my parents are educators, a professor and a second grade teacher.
You
and
make movies.
And I told my dad I wanted to write, and my father was just like, yeah, well, are you going to be a teacher? You're going to write at an institution? And I'm like, no, I don't know. I want to write things. I don't really know. And I'm sure, you know, in his mind, he was like, oh my God, my daughter, what is she doing? And he said, no, you're not going to go to college for that. You're going to go to college for something else. And then after that, you can write. And that's what I did. You know, and I'm glad I did do it because I actually went to college for design and costuming. And then I met Terri on set when I was a costumer. So I think when you are prayerful and you follow this path that you're supposed to be on, you will land where you're supposed to land. And that's what I'm always telling the young kids that come to us, or, you know, our group of kids that we mentor and the interns that we have, you know, stay very true to your heart. And our parents don't always understand that. And now that I'm a parent, I get it. My kid loves music, and he's like, yeah, I want to be in a band. And I'm kind of feeling again like my parents, like, oh, I don't really know about you being in a band, but also trying to be supportive because I'm an artist, so I get it. So I definitely feel like it's something that parents and kids can relate to.
It was very, very, very touching. Very good scenario. The social media, you know, this is what it's all about. It's digital lives matter.
Yes.
The followers were hilarious.
Yes.
From the twins to the nerd. I mean, just hilarious. What kind of research did you do to come up with those characters?
You know what? I stayed on social media. I literally.
So these are real people?
Well, they're not real. They're based on real people. And so what amazes me with social media is I really don't get into the comments personally. I don't post a lot of things personally. I've got to get much better. But when we were researching this movie, I literally went to DC's page and I had to start following DC. So I started following him, and I'm scrolling through the comments and scrolling through the comments. And I said, oh my God, these people are really vested in what this kid has to say. And then I would click on who they were, and it was such a wide variety from, I mean, every nationality, different sexes, different religions, just a massive amount of people that I really was amazed. I'm like, wow, he's really touching lives through what he says and does, albeit some silliness, and then sometimes a more serious message. He's impacting lives, the daily lives of people who take time to comment on it. So from that, I was like, well, I definitely wanted to represent the rainbow of people that are vested in these social media characters. But I also they were just the quirkiest, craziest comments. I'm like, some of these people are crazy. Like, why are we even talking about this? You know, so I wanted to represent that side of like the twins, very kind of stalkerish. Like, you've got people like that online. Even the hacker, you know what I mean? You've got people that take offense, and I talked to DC about this, when you don't speak to them. Because the tag for this are followers are real people. You know, there's a face behind all of those followers. There's a message there, because we are so insensitive sometimes as a society. We just say and do and comment and do whatever, but we need to be in touch with the fact that there are real people and real voices and real emotions behind that dialogue and those comments.
That's right.
And that's one of the underlining messages of this movie.
Was any of the followers your favorite, or was there one that really stands out?
I don't know.
They're all hilarious.
Yeah, I love the stutterer.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
I love the stutterer. I love the twins. I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite. Like, I've watched this movie, obviously, over and over and over again. And every time I watch it, I see something different. I laugh at a different place. So I don't know if I have a favorite. You know, my favorites change. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Depending on what's
depending
going
on the mood, depending on what's going on that day.
Influencers, contrast to followers you've got on social media. You know, people that say, like, again, like Oprah or someone who puts out there, she's cheerleading everyone, says, go do your thing. And then, as you say, trolls, who are out there whose their whole purpose is just to tear you down.
Right.
I mean, it just happens on social media these days.
Anything.
Anything. But what, in your opinion, is a healthy, online social media relationship?
Oh gosh, not if you are an influencer and you have followers, lots of followers. I think it's healthy that you don't take any of that personal. You have to look at it for what it is. And I do know a lot of people who posted things online and they literally got down on themselves because of some of the comments and they had to pull themselves off of social media. So I think it's just not healthy when you literally start taking in all of that energy that's coming from all over the world and you put it in your space and it starts to change who you are. I think that definitely is an unhealthy relationship. And then as far as people who follow people, it's healthy to just have a balance. You can't follow people all day long and stay so vested in other people's lives that you forget you have a real life of your own. That is not healthy. So, just doing everything, balancing everything and doing everything at moderation, to me is healthy. But you're also speaking from someone who was doing this before there was social media. So, so I'm sure kids may not agree because I know people who stay on it all day, but I don't know. I think we got to tune out and get into the real world every now and then. What's been your most shocking social media experience? Oh gosh, I don't know if I have too many that's been my personal, because like I said, I'm the worst. I think I might have 2,000 followers. I don't know.
That's significant.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I think my 2,000 become because Terri Vaughn is my producing partner, because I only post when it's business. Yes. So I don't have necessarily my own personal shocking, experience, but I have a very close friend who was online and doing a lot of things online, and her family life and her kids started being exposed to the comments, and it really changed the dynamics of her household. And I just remember having a personal conversation with her, and she just was like, my kids have been destroyed by social media because it took her kids out of this is my mom to this other person because of everything else. And I really realized how, dangerous it can be. And so I watched her try to build that back together. And that was a little shocking for me because I was like, wow, this is how this outside world really infiltrates your house. So that was a little shocking for me. So again, I always want to come back with positivity, come back with things like Digital Lives Matter, and keep reinforcing that message so that as a society, we just learn how to be nicer to people and be kinder to people. Because this platform, we are building a nation of cowards that just say whatever and do whatever, and I don't think that's good at all. So I think whenever you hear a story about suicides or people who have been bullied online, like all of those are shocking to me. Because I don't know how people can be so insensitive. But personally, I haven't had to deal with it because, again, I limit my social media. I don't know how much I'll be able to do this as this movie takes off. But yeah, I limit it. My followers go up when DC likes something of mine. Then my followers go up. That's always a good thing. But yeah. I definitely keep my distance with social media.
Did you always want to make that transition? Well, first of all, you were a writer again, to writing in films. Is that something that you always thought you would do?
It's not something I always thought I would do. I always knew I would write and tell stories.
To do?
I started writing music video treatments. So even when I was styling music video treatments, styling music videos, I wrote the treatments. So I've always wanted to be a storyteller. I always loved writing. Never did I think when I first started writing or when I went to college would I be doing this. But I follow wherever God takes me, I follow. But as storyteller, yes. Love films. So I'm just blessed. I'm really happy to be in this space and be able to be a content creator on a variety of platforms, digital, television, theatrical. As long as I get to tell good stories, wherever they land is wherever they land.
Well, you've got a lot on your plate right now. Understand what's one that's on the plate right now is the Escape film.
The Escape biopic, the
fresh off
unauthorized
of the BET
Escape.
Awards, and
Yes.
Escape is back. There's Tiny and Candace.
Jermaine Dupri is the executive producer.
Wow.
And wrote the Escape biopic. And I think that the network is airing it next June, Music Month. They're shooting it this year, but it is complete, so it's written. We have another project, When Love Kills, with Lance Gross and Lil Mama. It airs this year. Comes out this year, so we've been busy.
You've been busy.
Yeah.
I must say that the film Digital Lives Matter has such an incredible high level of production value.
Yes.
I mean, when this comes on, this is like a 20
we shot it for like
million.
theatrical. Yes.
Yeah, it looks like a Denzel movie. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Just, it's very, very, very well done. The music, the soundtrack is great.
Yes, David Banner.
David Banner.
David Banner is our music supervisor, and he actually came on as a producer for the movie. It was just very. Quality is very important for myself as far as Nina Holiday. It's very important for us. Sometimes the South, Atlanta being one of the newer elements, when you compare it to Hollywood, with being in this filmmaking business, we get a bad rep for quality. And it's because we have a learning curve. I mean, this business is new here. So we are new with learning how to make Hollywood quality production. So that was one thing that was very big for us. We did not want it to have poor quality production. So we have an amazing DP. His name's Ray Miranda. Great guy. I mean, he's worked on big major Hollywood blockbusters. And we had an amazing gaffer, Sean Cokes, and we just wanted to make sure it was lit right, it looked right, and it looked good. So we had a great crew of talented people to make that happen because we didn't know where it was going to go. We knew what it could do, but we were shooting it as though it were going to open up on 100 screens or 1,000 screens nationwide. And with that in mind, it needed to look the part. And so that was just really important for us.
No doubt about it. I mean, does the music, does it influence, well, of course, the writing comes first, but then, I mean, it's such a strong part of this film as well.
Yeah, the music, well, this is another thing about this film, and it is all Atlanta. Like, from beginning to end, it's Atlanta. Created by Atlanta, using Atlanta people, Atlanta director, Atlanta investor, Atlanta writer, Atlanta, down to the music. It's all Atlanta musicians. We used a lot of new, young, and upcoming musicians and showcased their music. And the music is such a part of this young culture. We wanted it to tell the story.
Old culture
so every sense, yes, absolutely. I think music moves you. And the movie has such high energy. That we knew the music would play a very important part. DC's walking a lot. He's moving a lot. He's visiting a lot of people. So we wanted that music to carry you through the journey. So David did an awesome job with helping us pull together these artists and strategically place this music. It definitely was an important part. And we had a library from all of these young people that submitted music to us. So we had a lot of music to choose from. So hopefully we'll be able to do that in our future projects because we know that Atlanta is known for music. It was music before it was film.
That's right.
So, that again was part of that Atlanta tie in making this movie.
Well, you live here, you work here.
I do.
Now the film and TV industry is #1 here in the world.
In the world.
What makes Atlanta such a good place for this industry?
Well, politically and business-wise, of course, the tax incentives helped a lot with bringing it here. But I think Atlanta, not so much as Georgia. Georgia, we have such a vast look So you can go to Athens or, you know, Macon or somewhere down south and it's so rural. Then we have the mountains, then we have Savannah, we have the beach. And so Atlanta can be such a chameleon, and Georgia can be such a chameleon that you can come here and it can look like you're in, you know, I don't know, Tokyo or wherever. You know, we can really build these facades, these film landscapes. And so for that, it's great. You know, it isn't LA, so the cost and the price, and people can come here and live here for 2-3 months, and it's economical. And I'm a Southern girl, so, you know, it's the South. I'm from North Carolina, so the South is always good.
You can always have sweet tea on the set. You can
always have that Bojangles sweet tea. And I mean, Atlanta's just a really cool place. People that come here and visit, there are several actor friends of mine who live here now that are transplants from LA, and they are like, I'm looking for a house. I'm like, oh, you're moving it? You were talking junk about Atlanta, but now you're moving to Atlanta. Once people come here and stay here for a little while, they realize how awesome it is, and they don't go back.
Well, Cas, you are such a, accomplished, again, author, now filmmaker. What is it that you want your legacy to be? Oh, my
goodness, my legacy.
Yeah.
Our legacy, and I say our because I'm such a part of Nina Holiday, you know, that it has really become part of me. Our legacy is to leave behind this content house and this production house that constantly brings up and fosters new talent, new writers, new directors, new filmmakers, long after I'm gone. You know, so we liken our company to a Pixar because, or Disney, you know, it lives on way after the founders are gone. I think that's very important. It's not all about Cas's stories. It's great to leave a library of stories, and I will do that. I've done that now, so I've got 12, 13 films down, but it's important that when I'm done, that who's the next Cas, who's the next Terri, and it having a vehicle for them and having opportunity, because this business is so inclusive and we don't let people in. So my legacy would be to have a vehicle that allows people to come in and flourish and put their stories out there.
How does avenues like the Urban Movie Channel, you know, UMC, how does that help yourself and other filmmakers to tell their stories and to accomplish your goals?
You know, Urban Movie Channel is revolutionary in the fact that it is allowing new filmmakers and older filmmakers to have a platform. I mean, we're nothing without distribution. We could have stories all day long, but if the stories are just sitting at our homes, it doesn't really matter. So platforms like Urban Movie Channel allows us to get our work out there so that the world can see there's all of these other brilliant pockets outside of Sony Screen Gems, you know? And it also is very great for the new culture because this is where everybody's getting their content. The kids are getting their content online. They're looking at this right here. My son stays on it all day long. So how do I get content to him? Platforms like Urban Movie Channel allow that, and I'm so thankful that you guys took a chance on our film and you're premiering it, and I'm happy about the opportunity. I'm happy to be in bed with Bob Johnson. I mean, he's, you know, a brilliant guy who revolutionized our business and allowed us to tell our stories back then, and now he's just doing it, you know, another way, and I get to be a part of it. It's dope.
It don't get no better than
that. It doesn't get any better than that.
Well, thank you so much for all that you do. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the writer, producer, and what else? Everything else.
Yeah, just writer, producer. I did. Yeah, I was driving the grip truck at one time. But yeah, independent filmmaking. Hey.
It's #digital lives matter. Again, Cas Sigers-Beedles. We appreciate you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Streaming right now on Urban Movie Channel, UMC.tv. I'm Vince Bailey for All Access UMC. We'll see you next time.